All right, good afternoon, welcome. I am Cameron. I like to talk about things that I enjoy, and as you might know, I enjoy this guy, Obsidian, right here. It's my favorite note-taking app. I don't use it quite as insanely as some people, but it doesn't stop me from enjoying it. If you're watching this, you probably enjoy Obsidian too. You know what else I enjoy? I enjoy Eagle. Eagle.cool. A digital asset management application for Mac and Windows. Obsidian is free, um, with some optional paid services if you need them. Eagle is $30 for a license for 2 simultaneous installs, and Eagle got a nice big update recently that I'm not going to be going into in this video, but go check it out. It's pretty affordable, and it's a super great program. I will touch on it a little bit because I'm talking about an Obsidian plugin. See, every few months, I do a little search and I try to see, has somebody made it so these two applications can communicate? Are these two guys talking to each other? And turns out someone has done it. Turnercore, github.com/Turnercore, has released a plugin, and it's available in the Obsidian community plugins. s3agle or s3agle. s3agle file management for Obsidian. So basically, this gives you the ability to make all of your attachments that you toss into Obsidian store locally inside of Eagle, not inside of Obsidian, and then in order to get the previews working in Obsidian, it uses another thing, some online storage. So it's kind of a little complicated workaround because you can have stuff in Eagle and you can drag it into Obsidian. It'll put it in there, but it'll copy it. So you'll have the image or whatever in 2 locations, which you probably don't want. And so to get around that, what it does is it copies its an online cloud-based web server and uses that remote link as what Obsidian uses for the previews, and it also throws that remote link into Eagle just as a reference for you. So I'm gonna get through all of that. There's definitely some setup involved. It's not just install the plugin and get going. It's a little bit much, but it's just in the Obsidian App Store, so you can see upload on drag and drop. You can turn that on or off. You can also have it kind of change the file names so that it doesn't, the web URLs don't have any sort of identifying information in there. You can also enable local storage, so if you don't want to actually upload it, that obviously, you're not going to want to do that. And then upload on drag and drop, you're going to want it to do that, obviously. This one's preference. If we go down to the S3, now that's the cloud storage that the stuff is going to be copied to in order to make use of the previews in Obsidian. We're going to have a bunch of things here you can see that we're going to need to get. Now, the access key and secret key, don't share those. So I'm gonna put a little post-it note on top of my thing there, so you guys can't see my keys. So just you want those to be hidden, because if you share those, anybody who has those keys, that key set, can upload and manipulate stuff in your S3 storage. So don't want to share that with anyone. So that's why I just had to cover that up. Bucket name, region, folder path, and endpoint. And then there's some other stuff here, and then some information about Eagle. We won't really have to change any of this stuff. You can optionally change this. I'm going to go through all of that, okay? So, first things first. You've already got Obsidian installed, I assume. Let's go ahead, let's install, or let's set up an S3 account. So S3 is done by Amazon, but there's a number of places that will offer this service. I set up one of the Amazon S3 free accounts. I'm already pretty familiar with S3 because I use a similar object storage service through DigitalOcean, which is what I host my website on, and a few different web apps and stuff like that. But I just figured I'll set up the free one here. DigitalOcean's pretty inexpensive, starts at $5 a month, but Amazon's got a free one, so why not? Let's go. Signing up for it, And there'll be links. I'll put links down there. So when you go to the Amazon Web Services site and you go to S3, there's going to be a gigantic free tier thing. You just click create a free account. It's going to give you 5 gigabytes of storage for free. And you see here it says 12 months free. I could not really find pricing after a year. It's possible that if you're under that 5 gigs, it's still free. It's possible that if you're, are an active user, it'll still be free. I don't know what the terms will be, but you can imagine it's probably going to be pretty inexpensive if you're not using too much space. And so super simple. You need an email, and then you make an account name. It'll verify the email, and then you'll just create your password and all that, and go to town. Now, you remember from the stuff in the Obsidian settings, one of the things that we needed was a bucket. So what's a bucket? A bucket is basically something that you put your files in. So think of it as a giant folder that everything's going to go in there, and you can do subfolders. But the terminology for this type of online storage is bucket. So if you go into, so in the account, there's going to be a spot that'll say buckets right there, and then you won't have anything listed, unless, right? So then you go hit the orange button, create bucket. It's incredibly easy. It basically just asks you for a name. All you're basically going to do is give your bucket a name, which can be anything. The only caveat is that it can't share another name. It can't share the same name as another bucket that's on the service. So basically, you're going to want to think of something that you can tag it with. So maybe a descriptor and then something like your name or your website name, or, that you can just add on to it that's going to kind of ensure that it's unique. Then it'll also tell you the region it's in, which is something that we'll need to put into the Obsidian settings as well. Once you've got the bucket created, you're going to click on the name to go into its own settings, and under the permissions tab, there's going to be 2 sets of things that you're going to want to cut and paste in there, and they are available right here on the GitHub that will allow the correct permissions for your bucket and things like that. The only thing you'll need to change is in this first one. It says in brackets your dash bucket. That obviously you would change to the name of your bucket without brackets or anything, just exactly how it appears in Amazon. And then that's it. So there's going to be 2 separate places. One is just going to be the bucket policy, which is where the first one from the GitHub thing will be. And the next one is the cross-origin resource sharing, or CORS policy, which is, again, going to be just, you take it straight from here. No editing needed for that one. Now, after that, you have the storage space that all your files are going to be shared to. And that should work fine. Next, you have to create a user. And when you create the user, that's going to give us the access key and the secret key that you will need to actually write the objects to your bucket to upload those files. Up in the top, there's a little services thing, and right next to it, there's going to be a search bar, and if you just type in users, you're going to get a few things. You're going to click on this one that says users IAM feature. IAM feature. And after you click that, you'll get a screen similar to the bucket list, and you will just click on, again, orange button, create user, give it a name, and then during that process, you will get the access key and the secret. Make note of those, copy them somewhere safe. And then the final thing you have to do is set permissions. Just like you did for the bucket, you're going to have to do it for the user. So when you click into the user and you go to set permissions, you're going to click on the box on the right that says attach policies directly. And then a little search bar will pop up, and you're going to just type in S3 into the search bar, and you're just going to check the little box next to Amazon S3 full access, right? Click that, and then you'll click create policy, and that should set up the space to store your files and the user and access information needed for you to actually upload those files and allow them to be retrieved by Obsidian. as a warning, I can't tell you what's safe or secure, obviously. I would recommend that you use some discretion with what you upload. It's highly unlikely that people are going to be able to guess the URL for where these offsite images are stored. It's very unlikely that there's going to be any compromise, issues of being compromised, unless perhaps you, reveal your key or share your account with someone or something like that. But just, be wary, play around with it, test it out with some stuff that's not sensitive, and just, see how you feel. So once you get all that information, let me move the post-it up. You're going to copy the access key and secret key into those spots. The S3 bucket name, you're going to put it in there. The region that bucket was given, you're going to pop it in there. And then if you want to put them into a subfolder of your bucket, you can type it there. Entirely optional, doesn't matter either way. The S3 endpoints, if you're using Amazon, will be pre-populated, and you can just leave that. Don't need to touch it. I had to turn on the use bucket subdomain. You may not. If you drag and drop something in there and it gives you, it doesn't display the image, and you check it and it's got a weird looking URL, just check that, re-upload something, and, we'll see. That's it. The only other thing that you might need to touch is the Eagle folder, and I'll talk about that in just a moment when I get into actually using this with Eagle. So Eagle by default is just a really robust digital asset library. So one of the nice things about Eagle is that it has a lot of customization options built in. I imagine a lot of people could just toss files in here without doing folder organization, without really messing with the tags even, and you could still find a lot of stuff super quickly. If you click on an image, let's say we click on this guy here, you can see it's got a bunch of colors that it pulls from here. You can click on one of those and it'll automatically do a search for similarly colored items, right? Pretty cool, pretty cool. And then aside from that, you can also filter by shape, and this will populate the more things that it sees. So this just says square, but there could also be landscape, portrait, and all sorts of stuff, depending on what it looks at. So all the filters in here are things that are actually in your library. And then as you can see, it tells you I've got 15 PSD files, 600 PNG files. Let's see, and that's in this folder that I'm looking at, in this search results. So let's see, which PSD files do I have? There you go. Those are the ones that I have PSD files of. Boom. Let's click on the little eyeball here. Let's do red. Let's see what we get. Nice piece of pie, cool dagger, stone. So very simple to use, very powerful. If we click off this color tag, it's just going to go back to everything that we have in here. Uncategorized means it's an item that's not in a folder. Untagged means it's an item that does not have any tags. And recently used and random are, pretty obvious. You can tag things, and you can categorize the tags. You can do emojis in the tags if you want. And then you can make folders to separate your stuff into. For example, we've got fantasy weapon icons, we got add-ons, ammunitions, axes, right? We got herbal icons right here, separated by PN and PSD. So I could take these out, put them all into the main one, and then when I'm in that main one, I just filter. Oh, well, I just want PSDs this time, right? So super robust, super cool. I love it. Obviously, this is just kind of a test vault for this video. My main Eagle Vault has almost 2 terabytes of stuff here. It's got raw footage that I've recorded, not only for these videos, but for some of the other stuff that I do on YouTube and other places that are a little bit different than this. I've made comic books since 2005, up until pretty recently, and I've got all those loose pages, sketches and stuff from throughout the years. I've tossed it all in there, organized it a bit. It's great. I love it. I'm going to have another video about the new version of Eagle and a cool plugin that's in the process of being built right now up pretty soon too. So this Obsidian folder right here is where all the stuff that I've tossed into Obsidian goes. So if I go back into that plugin options, Eagle folder, Obsidian. Let's change that up, right? Testing folder. Bam. Love it. Love it. Let's go up here to blank note, and let's just pull up. And so before we actually get into this, let me just show you. I've got attachments for Obsidian to go into the attachments folder, just in the root there. So right there, that little guy. So that's where any attachment should go, according to the settings of Obsidian. Let's open up this these armor icons that I've got. And let's say this is going to be a note that's going to have a bunch of examples of cloaks I'm working on for my new game. Let's say we've got some cloaks. This is a nicely folded one. I kind of like this one, though. This is like a pretty sick vampire cloak or something, right? I don't know. Drag and drop it right here. Uploading cloak. Boom. We got the cloak right there, and you can see it's not taking a local image. We still have nothing up here. There's nothing in the attachments folder. But it's taking this from the my s3agle bucket camcam.s3.amazon blah 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 right in there. And now if we go here and we go to all, the most recently added image is going to be the same exact one. And it's going to have the name taken from the file. It's going to have the comment uploaded from Obsidian. And it's going to have the URL to the S3 object right there, in case you need it, as a nice reference. And you can see I had only Obsidian in there before, and now I have testing folder, and that's where that one's gone. So, and it does tag it with Obsidian. So you could take it out of take the default folder out and have it just go into just the uncategorized, just in there, not in its own folder. And then it'll still have the Obsidian tag. And then if you have stuff like smart folders, you know, you can add a smart folder. And let's just say the smart folder is going to be from Obsidian. And smart folders are basically folders that have a dynamic set of rules that they follow that gets updated automatically based on what is in your vault and what applies to the rules of its settings. So we can say tag has all of the tags, and the tag that we're going to have in there is the Obsidian tag. So we go create. So now I've got stuff in here that was uploaded from Obsidian into Eagle with the plugin. So if I click on one of the screenshots for the setup, it's got the uploaded from Obsidian, and it's got the tag. Same as the one that we just did in the different folder. If we click the smart folder, it's going to have both things in there. So even if you decide to not use a default folder and then just manually drag and drop stuff, that's fine. You can always, if you need to, have like a saved search result, basically, that will give you anything that was taken from the plugin. So that's pretty cool. This is almost exactly what I want. And I found this plugin a couple months ago, 2 months, and it wasn't working, and I reached out to the dev via the Reddit thread that I found that he had made advertising it, and he said, yeah, I know, I'm working on it though. And then yeah, he got it fixed up. I provided some feedback, and he's super responsive, very nice gentleman or lady, whoever, very nice person, very nice human being. Very nice, and I'm so glad, because this is what's needed. I think it's gonna make me feel more comfortable with just some of my creative project workflow. This also will give you the added benefit of, if you use like Obsidian Sync, it's not going to none of these images are going to use up any of your storage space for that. So you don't have to worry about a whole bunch of stuff being synced to your phone, for example. But when you open up the note on your phone, you're still going to see the image preview because it's pulling that from the web. And actually, let me go into my S3 account and I'll just show you what that looks like, so you can see the list of files that are on there. So here we're in my bucket right here, and under the objects tab we're gonna have just the root folder and then the subfolder, and that's it because I put everything in the Eagle subfolder. So click on the Eagle folder and look at that. We have a bunch of files there. So if I click one of them, it's going to give me a bunch of information as well as a URL that I can click that will open up that image. That same URL is going to be the one that is popped into. So if I click on that in Eagle, it's going to do the same thing. It's going to pop it up right there. So again, just be aware that potentially these image files and whatever else, because it should work with anything. PDF files that you toss in there, MP3s, it should send it over to Eagle for the actual storage and then move it on up. Just keep in mind that potentially these can be visible through the web if somebody can guess the bucket name, the folders, and the file name. I'm going to show you one more thing. Let's just take a quick look at how Eagle stores files on your system. The way that it works is it uses a flat file system, right? Doesn't put these things in any sort of database, right? We got the image right here. If this was a bigger image than 256 by 256, I guess a bigger image in like file size, actually, not resolution, duh. But it will do a thumbnail of it, and that's the thumbnail that will be populated here unless you double click into it. And then it's going to have a metadata file, and the metadata file is going to be what has the colors in there, tags, folders, anything like that, the notes and all that. It's going to be in this file right here. Each file that you put in Eagle has its own file on your folder on your hard drive. So moving something from one Eagle folder to another Eagle folder doesn't do anything to the actual file path of that file, if that makes sense. So you're never going to have to worry about the organization you use in Eagle breaking any sort of thing that you've used your files for. So for example, I'll drag files and stuff from Eagle into DaVinci Resolve, and they'll be linked like that. If I do anything in Eagle to the file, the only thing is this is the file name. If I change the file name, that will break it. But aside from that, I can do anything else to the file in Eagle, and that DaVinci Resolve project is always going to have the correct media loaded in there. I'm never going to have to relink anything. Same with like Photoshop or Affinity. Anything that uses links to kind of manipulate your files. So like if you're designing something in InDesign or Affinity Publisher, for example, and you've got a bunch of graphics for your magazine or whatever you're doing, and you drag them in there, and then you're like, oh, let me reorganize this stuff here. You open that project again, as long as you don't change the file name, everything's going to load up fine. And if you throw fonts into Eagle, it'll very easily let you filter by different attributes of the fonts, as well as toggle them on or off on a system-wide basis. So if you've got fonts in here, you literally just click a little thing on the font itself, and it's going to make it available to your system pretty seamlessly. So there's a lot of cool, interesting things you can do with Eagle. I think it's fantastic. I think Obsidian is fantastic. I am pretty excited. All right. See you later, buddies.